Okay.
We are rolling 2d8 for our first trivia questions. So the first question is an Eleanor question, and it is, what year was construction on Williamson Hall started?
Don't know.
How about let's ease the difficulty level and make that, what decade was Williamson Hall started?
50s?
50s.
50s is right.
Kathy got that because Frank doesn't know how to raise his hand.
I protest that.
You can protest all you want.
You're overruled.
All right.
Okay, Kathy, we're showing her age, Kathy. We're showing her age.
Hey,
So ask her another question with age and see if she participates this time.
All right. Next question. Name one of the two congregations that MVCC helped establish during the 1950s. And
Oh,
you get double points if you can correctly name both.
50s.
Susan.
Sandra Del Monte Christian Church.
That is one of them.
Los Altos.
Yeah.
Kathy raised her hand.
That's that.
What's the other one?
It's Los Altos.
That's right.
I went to San Del Monte for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, when we first came to town because it was closer to our house, and we changed to Monte Vista right away.
Good
We
move.
went there for
Hey Frank, why don't you just sit around there with like this?
Just keep my hand up.
Yeah, just keep it up.
All right. Okay. So we'll do that and that. All right. So next question is, what was the menu for the legendary 35-cent meals the women of MVCC served the public to raise money for the new church?
Frank.
Tacos.
Tacos. Kathy.
Fried chicken.
Yes, it was. It was
I was
fried
gonna
chicken.
say.
You're right. Yeah.
It
Is
was
that right?
it was actually cream chicken.
Cream.
Yeah, it wasn't actually fried chicken. That was the one that was done at the 75th.
The
Chicken.
The official answer, according to Ray Reeder, esteemed church historian, is creamed chicken, hot biscuits, coleslaw, and lemon pie. And I could tell you that my husband would eat one out of those four things.
The pie.
The
Different day.
biscuits. All right. Next question is an Eleanor question. And that is,
Bonnie, just so you know, you have to raise your hand to answer the question. Frank is learning that now.
okay. All right, let's see. This one I'm going to reword very slightly, Eleanor. But in the late 1960s, Evelyn Kelly was appointed as a committee of one to look into the cost and type of installing what item in the church?
Susan.
an organ.
Correct. That's
Correct.
right.
Well, what year was that?
That was in the late 60s.
I think it was 68 is what Jim had told me.
And she was doing it, yes. That was my mom.
Yeah.
Ah, I like it. Okay. All right.
I just
next-
didn't think it's a question about installing plumbing, so I figured an organ was a fair guess.
It was right.
Indeed.
It was a good one.
A pipe organ specifically.
Yeah.
She was determined they were gonna have a pipe organ.
Well, they had to actually redraw the plans for the extension of the sanction, the chancel area sanctuary, make it octagonal rather than round, so it wouldn't focus the sound to one spot, but would spread it appropriate to when the pipe organ was installed, that it would have the best acoustics.
And I think we can all agree that the pipe organ and the associated acoustics that went with it were definitely a major and wonderful capital improvement for our building.
There's your buddy.
Yeah,
All right. Next question. What is the name of the hall built in 1949 to provide more space for Christian education? I love that you two are laughing.
Betsy?
Oh, Bethany Hall, right?
Not Bethany.
Oh. Sorry.
Frank,
No, no.
has- Frank,
Kathy?
has- Frank has his hand up.
Frank.
Williamson.
Nope, not Williamson.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
Steen Hall.
Steen. Steen.
I have my hand up, but I didn't get to say it.
Yeah, Susan had her hand up.
Susan had her hand up. Okay.
No, but you've already had a couple of good answers.
Steen Hall was actually named after
They're
the
doing a
father.
trivia thing with opening up the town hall.
What's that, Eleanor?
I was gonna say Steen Hall was actually named after the father of one of the kids that was my age, whose father died of a heart attack
Mm,
very suddenly when he was in his 40s.
mm.
And they named the hall after him.
Okay.
I remember when,
What are you doing?
when they doubles did all those little pieces of carpet on the floor and multiples of 3, and they did all those little patchwork pieces for carpet in there. That was back then. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was Steen Hall.
Betsy, if you raise your hand, I can't see you because all I'm seeing is the ceiling fan. There you
I'm
go.
getting my computer going, so I'm sort of multitasking here.
Okay, we're back to the ceiling.
I don't know anything about the history, so I guess I shouldn't even worry about it.
All right. Next question. This is an Eleanor question. So, in 1954, the largest group ever baptized at Monte Vista at once was on an Easter Sunday afternoon. About how many kids were baptized that day?
Wow.
Brother Ryan,
37.
that was a guess. Betsy's coming back in on a different computer.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my other computer so I can see everybody's faces.
Oh, okay,
I don't know how to do it on my phone.
okay.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm dialed in from my phone. So,
Yeah, me too.
all right. Any other takers on this question?
I'm gonna guess 16.
16?
Susan said 16.
Well, 16 is the closest number that I have heard so far, so let's go with that. It is 22 is the correct answer.
That's a lot.
That's the year that Eleanor was baptized.
Yep, I was in that group. It was like a down, doop, out.
That's good.
Assembly line baptisms.
Reverend Roy Ford was the one who baptized us.
What was the condition of that water after they got through?
I know.
That's where you want to be first in line, not the last in line.
Yeah. Yeah, not so much.
How funny.
All right. That's what I'll go with. Okay. This one is a two-parter. Who was the first female minister to serve MVCC? And double points if you know the year.
I don't know the year. I think I know who it is, but I don't know. the year.
Kathy,
I do too.
Pat Barbier,
Yes. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
1968, 67,
Well,
No, I think
Yep.
62 maybe.
62.
not
She was
according
called as an
to,
associate for Theo Fisher, 62, 63, somewhere in there.
okay, Rachel,
I know the date.
they're off mark.
it was actually Mrs. Williamson in 1931.
Oh, no, really?
Oh,
This is-
yeah.
And
She was the first-
the tidbit from Ray Reeder, the official explanation from Ray, is that Mrs. Williamson was an ordained minister whose first name seems not to be on record. She preached
Imagine
the
that.
first year, yeah, she preached the first year at MVCC while her husband, Guy, also an ordained minister, recovered from a throat ailment.
Our very first minister's wife really became the very first minister.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm, basically.
Yep.
I hadn't
He was
thought-
called and she served for 6 months.
I hadn't heard
Did
that.
they pay her or pay him?
You know the answer to that one. You know. Yeah, you know that one.
Is off the record, off the record.
So let's keep going for a few more minutes here. Who designed, this is an Eleanor question, who designed stained glass for the chapel?
Oh, I should know that. I thought I'd seen it many times. Is it a man named Traugott, something like that?
Susan?
It's somebody named Traugott, is that the name, the last name?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I got it mixed up with somebody else.
I was just showing the stained glass in that dedication plaque to somebody today and I couldn't tell you who it was.
Don't know.
And,
Well, I
and
don't
the-
know the answer because I know. I mean, it's-
the shop that's doing the repair to the glass that was damaged is
Yeah,
the
I
second,
heard it was-
is the second owner of the shop, of the person that did the stained glass and established the shop. And she's the
Nice.
second owner of that shop.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
good. That's neat.
And I asked her, if you keep the stained glass for a week to show it off to your clients and stuff, do we get a discount?
Incidentally, the artist was Jewish.
Yeah. All
So
right, Betsy, you stumped us.
I
So
give
who
up.
was it?
it was Arthur Sussman
Mhm.
is the name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went to school with his daughter.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
And
Small
I think
world.
he was on TV as well as an artist. But I may be remembering that.
Very good.
But I also went to school with Kangaroo's daughter when I was in Boston.
My mom was on the memorials committee. In fact, she headed it up for about 20 years.
Mhm.
And so she was very involved in all of that memorials purchases and what went on. And so she was involved with having him design that.
Very good.
Okay. So next one. In what New Mexico town did the CYF group establish a library when Linda and Billy Thorne were youth sponsors? You could guess where this question came from.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Raise your hand. Come on.
I'm not sure. Well, that's gonna be after my time.
Uh-huh.
So
I'll guess Carlsbad.
That was going to be my guess.
It is not Carlsbad.
It's where the camp is.
Yeah, that's where the camp is.
We give,
We stumped?
we're stumped.
It is Roy, New Mexico.
Boy.
Oh,
Red
Red Reef
Visit.
place.
There are enough people to go to a library there.
And our
There's still a Disciples Church there.
Well,
Wow.
that would be where,
Ray Reef.
Justin is
the
pastor.
pastor at the time that brought about the merger, that was a lay minister and a counselor for AA. And now his name is escaping me. But he served there a number of years and
Mhm.
really rebuilt that church from essentially dying to continuing in a really, that's an old railroad town, believe it or not.
His name was Ray also. I'm just losing his last name. The one who died a few years ago.
He died a few years ago.
Yeah, his name was Ray, because we always talked about Ray so-and-so from Roy. And he went to Los Altos in his last years when Justin began
I've always-
serving.
seen
No,
the
no,
bumper
this
sticker
was
on,
Years before that,
Someone's-
this had been while we were in Raton in the early 70s. When
I
the
know-
Methodists and the Disciples joined forces there, and this man was responsible.
I've seen the, someone in the parking lot has a bumper sticker that says, "I know Ray from Roy, New Mexico." So that's what I always think of when I see Roy.
No, this-
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna say this, let's let this one be the last one. Wrap this up. So this is one more Eleanor question. And it is drive-in church, although we've all become familiar with it thanks to 2020 and pandemic. Monte Vista actually did drive-in church in 1956, 1957 timeframe. What theater did we use? Notice, Eleanor, I'm telling everyone who to blame for some of these.
Well, it was Reverend Roy Rick.
Susan?
I'm gonna guess the Duke City Drive-In, where Walmart is now.
No,
no.
That's not it. But thank you for guessing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There are no other takers. The answer is the Cactus Drive-In on it.
Oh, I never used it.
The only reason I know it is because I've got it on the sheet right in front of me.
it no longer exists, of course. But Reverend Glenn Ricketts was our associate, and he was the one in charge of the drive-in church at that time in 56 and 7.
I'm happy to say before my time.
Yeah. I know, I've got most of you covered on that. My folks joined the church in 1951. So when I was about 8. So I've been part of the church since 51.
Wow. It's amazing. I don't remember any of this.
Hey, guess what? Me either. All right. Well, with that, I think, Susan, congratulations. You are our trivia champ for the evening, followed by Kathy. And Frank, better luck next time if you can raise your hand.
Now I'm in trouble.
Learn the rules, learn the rules.
And so I wanted to say thank you, everybody, for coming to this town hall and for participating in our trivia game and learning a little bit about the history of the church. I know I have learned plenty just putting this together. It's good to get some of that recorded and down on paper. So I'd like to
Who's
trans.
been doing everything on,
It was Larry Null, Null, who was at Roy as pastor to bring them together. And he was basically a lay preacher at that time. But he was there, I believe it would have been about 1971 when the two congregations formally merged. And we were at Raton that time. At that time, we went down to Roy for the Sunday afternoon service celebrating the merger.
Oh,
wow.
Larry Hill, yeah.
I'm gonna do a quick sound check and make sure that I'm not having issues with my audio like I was earlier. Am I still connected?
We can hear you good.
Okay, very good.
Is the prizes going to be Bitcoins?
Fine.
Shows your coin.
Virtual coins,
Yeah.
Virtual coins for a virtual trivia night on a virtual town hall.
Right?
How else would we do this?
Exactly.
It is the century of the fruit bat, after all. All right. All right. Well, I would like to.
Don't label this video as history.
I'm going to put entertainment.
Entertainment. Yeah,
More
that may
appropriate.
be the
Entertainment / history.
That's right.
entertainment / education. I'm sure it's been. So yes, I would like to take the time now to go ahead and transition to our stepping out and claiming our future capital campaign. And one thing, you know, where I've kind of been starting with this is building off of the Reverend Dr. Craig Wall's sermon at launch, where he was talking about stepping out and getting your feet wet in the Jordan River, and then waiting for the miracle of only occurring after your feet are already wet. And I would like to think that you know, in my experience, that has tied in very well to this overall vision plan. You know, at the board meeting last summer, where we're in the thick of the pandemic, we're not sure when we're going to be able to meet in person again, but you know, we know it's not going to be for a while yet. And just seizing that opportunity to say, hey, you know, we don't have anybody in the church right now. We're not going to be disrupting anybody. Let's go ahead and lean in to our vision plan and start using this prime opportunity to execute that. Even though we couldn't do, the time wasn't right then to do a capital campaign alongside it. So the HVAC renovations are completed. They were just one facet of our vision plan to make Monte Vista a place of radical hospitality where everybody is welcome. And you know, we've got some other improvements are in work. The team is working on the living room area and bringing that up to date, making that a welcoming place for people to fellowship afterwards. We're working on bringing the nursery upstairs instead of in the basement. And you know, for me personally, I really like the notion that Sam isn't, you know, sequestered somewhere away from worship, that I won't have to try to keep him entertained just to have him experience what worship is. One of his favorite books right now, Dawn, is A Church for All. He's that's frequently in the rotation and requested. So and just ADA compliance, making it so that everybody, regardless of ability, can get up onto the altar and participate in worship, be worship leader, read prayers at the table. And we all know how important the table is to us as disciples. So really making the altar and the table, the physical space of it, truly accessible for all is part of this vision plan, and just investing in the future of Monte Vista and planning for the next 90 years as we look back on these last 90. So I think that is that's the primary bit of my spiel, for lack of a better word. And I would like to go ahead and open this up for discussion, open it up for any questions that you may have about the capital campaign, about the logistics, about what the resources are going to be used for. So, any takers? Yes, ma'am.
First, want to let people know that we have a web page as part of our website that is devoted to the capital campaign. I'm putting the link in the chat so that you can go directly to it. We have loaded the vision plan on it, the brochure, the pledge card, all kinds of images. We're going to be adding the testimonies that have been given during worship on Sunday as video clips in there, and just make it a really good resource page for the capital campaign.
Thank you, Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Ron.
What I think about what's going on is the participation of both genders, male and female, in this project, because the ladies that are working on the living room are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, Monte Vista is really good at inclusion.
Hmm?
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The stained glass window, is that going to be part of, or is that kind of from a different budget?
I think that is from a different budget. I would
Okay.
think that would be property, but
Yes, and it's not that expensive. We've been pleasantly surprised how it was less than $2,000. We think we're going to be able to get fixed.
That's great. I was worried about being so
Yes.
expensive. Cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
And they're supposed to be there tomorrow, I believe, to do the outer cover and the inside, the stained glass, to take it and fix it. Lou was telling me that both companies are supposed to be there, and I think it's tomorrow.
We're having the continuation of the same firm, apparently, that did the original, is going to be a big plus too, in terms of color match.
Mm-hmm. But good question, Betsy.
Mhm.
Wayne?
Yeah, do you have any idea when the work will start on the nursery?
I'm going to throw that one at Dawn.
Okay. We are still in the early stages. We're trying to get in touch with a design company that works with liturgical settings so that we can make sure we've thought everything through. And Nancy Brooks drew sketches for us, and now we're taking this to the liturgical design company that she referred us to help us design this, where it's not just a box in the back of the room, but appealing in aesthetics and function as well. So we're months away from it actually being a completed project. But the library is being painted right now, and books are being sorted right now. I took pictures that are going to be in the newsletter tomorrow that you can see of kind of where we are in that project. Susan, did I see your hand up?
I have a question about the ADA. I know for myself, when my knee and my hip were bad, it was very hard for me to get up and down from the table. So I'm not sure what's going to be done there, but I appreciate it being done. But I found myself thinking, what about the fire alarm? I was only in the fire for one Sunday, so I don't know exactly how people got in there in the first place. But I don't know what the plan is there.
There's not a specific plan yet. We have ADA compliance resources in our denomination and then in the city that we're going to be consulting. I've already reached out to the one in the denomination to get their input and advice on how to handle the challenges in the physical plant. So it's an important piece of it. Bonnie, did you have your hand up?
I was just curious as to, do we have a time frame for the narthex as well?
Rachel, I don't think we've addressed any of that just yet. We're wanting to,
Yeah,
we're going to upgrade the lighting and the colors and move that dark furniture out, just like the furniture from the living room. All of that dark furniture will be donated. That's one of the things we'll talk about at the board meeting tomorrow night, so that we can really brighten up that space.
Okay, thanks.
Susan.
Thinking of the narthex, it makes me think of one of the meetings I went to about one of the libraries in town. I think it was when they were redesigning Arna Ferguson. And they said, and they had a great name for it, which I don't remember what it was, but I think it was either junk or they were using a 4-letter word that was one I wouldn't repeat here. But they were talking about all the stuff that ends up in the front of the library, like papers you can take and stuff like that. But I can't help but think, as part of the outreach team, we love the fact that people are bringing things in and that they sometimes take a little while to get out, because it helps you remember, oh, I was going to do that and I'll bring mine in next week. So I would like to see us design a space for that. Right now, I have a lot of art supplies in my living room, and they're just like all over the floor and on part of a bookcase, which I just think looks terrible. But at least they're there and I can get to them. But if I was actually designing something, I wouldn't want outreach to be the last thing you think of, because I think it's the first thing you should think of. And I think it says something to new people walking in if there are items there that are going to be taken somewhere and something they can participate in.
Very
what we have
good.
right now is not very well designed for that.
Very good point. Outreach is important. I found a home for all that stuff today too.
Oh, yay.
Should somebody move that we adjourn?
We'll just assume you all have all the answers
That's
now
right.
and you can communicate it.
And certainly if a question pops into your head after we are done with this town hall, feel free to call me or email me, or any member of the Capital Campaign team. And if we do not immediately know the answer, we will find somebody who does, and get you any further information that that you're looking for if something pops into your head afterwards.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have a celebration when we get all this stuff done?
I'm just looking forward to the 23rd, man.
One step at a time.
That's right.
I am trying to get to the 23rd of May.
And that could be a big part of the 90th celebration is here's where we are now after 90 years.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, indeed. But I think, yes, we do need some sort of celebration of projects being complete as well. I'm all about celebrations.
A little
Well,
bit
and
of little bit of trivia that wasn't mentioned. There was a street that went right straight through a church between Williamson Hall and a sanctuary, and they got it closed. That's Grand, where Grand bumps into the church. It was a street that went through.
Mhm.
You know the year it was closed. We were been wondering.
Yeah, I would have
I
used
do
that.
not know the year.
Well, it was still open in 1961 because
Was it?
the car we borrowed off my grandparents to drive us back down to TRC and pick up the car we're going to use for college was parked there. People were still parking in that street in January of 61.
That's when we got married.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I like it though. I think you could say, Mama Vista, we're still Grand.
There you
Still, we're
go.
still.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm impressed with all this history. I can't even remember what I did yesterday.
You and me both.
I'm
Well,
impressed.
we are going to have a big ceremonial celebration when we're back in the sanctuary. I think it's an opportune time to have a blessing of that space again as we return to it, kind of recommission it, and then we can have a big celebration when all the projects are finished from the physical projects of this vision plan. We'll be living into the whole of that vision plan for some time to come.
Mhm.
Do you think we would need to make a special exception to dance in the aisles of the church?
Oh, I dance on the chancel. Surely you can.
We're not allowed to dance in the aisles?
I'm trying to get people to move
That's right.
out there.
Dancing- We're gonna, when we go back together, we're gonna dance in the aisles.
Yes.
That's right.
So when will
That's
this
right.
happen? When will we be in the,
I knew I shouldn't have said anything.
is it when the state's gonna be open in July?
The state tells us what we can do, not what we have to do. That's my canned answer to all the questions about the state says we can do this. Yeah, but we're just not ready yet because we're not going to be able to sing inside because we're not asking people for vaccination status. And we're not limiting it to just vaccinated. So we can't be singing inside the building because of the COVID spread risk. So it'll be a while. We might can do some inside without singing when we get into monsoon season and we have weeks on end where we can't be outside, maybe. So everything's a possibility.
So I for one have really been enjoying, the opportunity to actually even just be doing outdoor worship, to have somewhere to get up and go on Sunday morning. That has been really nice and really something that I have missed over the last year. So yeah, outdoors good by me.
Well, thank you for that too, Rachel, because there's been a lot of thought and a lot of preparation and a lot of discernment and what is safest and best and most beneficial to the congregation.
Yes, indeed. So, and that doesn't mean that when, July rolls around, I'm not going to be hankering for that new AC unit indoors, but.
Oh, I know. I was looking at the forecast for this Sunday. It's going to be 86 is the high. So I'm hoping it holds off till the afternoon.
Yeah, usually does. Mornings usually aren't too bad.
Yeah.
And the shade helps. So
doing a couple of silly things on that, I went to the gym yesterday and I said to him, I really came just for the air conditioning. And he says, yes, it's pretty cool in here. And I walked away from the desk and I thought, that's just too good of a lead in. So I went back and I said, well, it is now that I'm here. And, you know, you can get the guys at the gym. But I have for my testimony next Sunday, I have repurposed the prayer that I have them read at my father's funeral. And I don't know if you all remember, but my father died from suicide right after 9/11. So I took the saddest parts out, and what's left is just right for what we're doing now and worshiping outside. It wouldn't be the right prayer for inside, so it's just right. So
Great.
I hope that gives you a reason.
I'm just looking at the forecast. They've revised the forecast for Sunday, the high 77. So yay.
So much better.
Really?
Much
I
better.
missed that. I wasn't aware of it being that high, so.
It was showing 86 for
It
Sunday
was.
and now it's 77. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
good.
So this front is just wobbling back and forth, so either one could be right. That far.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, it'll
Somewhere
change.
in between, somewhere in
It'll-
between.
It'll change 5 times between now and then, at least.
What I think's neat that there's so much volunteer help to set up Sunday morning and to tear down. It's so quick to get all that put up and put away that it's really refreshing to see people out there hustling to get that area ready and then to take it down again. It's really great.
It's
Mhm. It is.
definitely teamwork. So we also need people to sign up for the table this weekend. So remember, after you get off here to go to the volunteer signups and sign up to serve at the table and serve communion this Sunday.
Okay.
Right.
I just,
That'd be a good job for you, Ryan.
Bonnie?
I just want to say thank you to Rachel. She's done a phenomenal job with this capital campaign. Hats off to you, Rachel, and your crew, but it's really, you've done a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, definitely hats off to the crew. They have been great. They've been working very hard, and making meetings ridiculously early on Saturday mornings to accommodate my schedule. So yes, everything they've been doing has been really great and very much appreciated. I definitely would not be able to do it without everything everyone's been doing.
Hey, Bonnie, that's what I was just going to say. So you read my mind. So good job, Rachel and team.
Great minds think alike, Betsy.
That's right. And Rachel's not given herself enough credit. She has led us very methodically, very organized, keeping us on schedule, both within the meeting, but in the whole campaign. She is doing a phenomenal job. So for sure.
Yeah. And how?
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to thank everybody for coming once again. My poor mother has been looking after a 2-year-old since roughly 8:30 this morning, so I am going to go give her a hand. But great to see everybody on here. I hope everyone had a little bit of fun, learned some things, and yeah, looking forward to stepping out with everybody together.
And consider the in-person town hall next Tuesday at 6 o'clock
Yes.
at the church.
Yes, there are still a few trivia questions that we did not get to tonight, so there will be some repeats, but there will also be some that we didn't get to.
So I need to make this recording private until then, because I recorded it as public.
Oh.
So I'll change it to private until after Tuesday.
I wonder if we could ask Brother Ryan to close us with a word of prayer or something, since he won't be there for the in-person. I'm assuming.
That would be good. Dawn, would you close us out in prayer, please?
I think Susan was asking for Brother Ryan to do so.
Oh, Brother Ryan, I'm sorry. Zoom speakers.
I have that ability, assuming my headphones are working. They have occasionally failed us during the pandemic. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Let us pray. God of community, we give thanks tonight for this church, this corner of your church around the world, and the entirety of a church encapsulated in Monte Vista. We are grateful that there is a place to call home for being disciples and growing in our discipleship. We look forward to becoming even more the church that you hope we will be, as we are grateful for your guidance through these past 90 years. We are on a journey together. We are the body of Christ, and we rely on each other even as we lean collectively on you, so that we can do your will in our corner of the world, in Albuquerque, and very briefly in Maryland. We are Monte Vista, a beautiful view of the mountains there in Albuquerque. Help us to be a home of love that includes and welcomes and gathers your people to do your will. In the name of Jesus, we pray.